Well, we have our work cut out for us, and this is something that we're gonna continue tomorrow. I would love to continue today, as as there's probably a lot of stuff to do. But if I want to stream tomorrow, and I do, and hopefully tomorrow is just gonna be overall a better row. I'm gonna have to end the stream here today. So before I go, I just kind of wanted to again just kind of thank you guys for for being here and for enjoying the journey and for being just the best community. I mean, I didn't like I wasn't this lucky back when I don't know streamed WoW, and before that when I streamed Hearthstone, and before that when I didn't stream. There was a pattern of my like Blizzard games, but like overall, kind of a similar community. Like I always used to say the Hearthstone community in some ways is just a bit more like hard to handle than WoW in some ways when it comes to like I don't know backseating or whatever. And I've never been this lucky, and it just feels good to just have a group of people around who enjoy the story, who enjoy the experience, who are actually passionate about this, who want to have a good time, and who help others have a good time, and just kind of be helpful and just be good. And that's what you guys are, and I appreciate that. So yeah, you're really making my days here. Um, I had a long, hard day today, and I thought, like, I never think, like, oh, I'm not gonna stream today because I know that no matter what happens to me during the day, I will show up to stream, unless I physically can't. So it's just nice that, I don't know, that you're so supportive and just, go towards each other first, and then towards like the community and me, and just I don't know, I just feel really grateful. I just kind of wanted to share that. um but yeah, that's all I wanted to say for today. I am, as you've gathered, I am in no condition to perform any tasks anymore today whatsoever. Thank you. Thank you for helping me have fun. This wouldn't be half as fun if I was alone. I'd probably just be over with Shadowbringers already, and would, I don't know what I'd be doing. The question is whether I would even be playing the game. I would, because I like the game, but I think I'd be a lot more lonely and a lot more afraid of like looking for people to talk to, because it's easy to talk to you because you're there, and like if you're like in my chat or whatever, like you're already kind of showing the effort and the commitment, and giving your time to be here. um like that for me is kind of the way you're reaching out, and then I reach back and like talk to you, and that's how I enjoy like spending time with the community. But like when I'm alone, like when I'm actually like in game or whatever, I have this thing where I'm just, I don't know, do you call it like afraid of people or whatever? Like it's just this weird feeling of just kind of being stressed out about, I don't know, group content or whatever. And and you guys really help a lot with that, because I don't feel anxiety when I stream. Um and and that's a good thing. And another thing that's been kind of stressing me out a little bit. It's gonna sound ungrateful for sure, but like whenever someone from like the FF community just does something nice, like helps me get a mount that they already have, or helps me with gear like Cupcake did, or helps me with anything really, I just have a hard time kind of accepting that and just kind of showing that I'm grateful for it, because I know that people actually do it because they're nice. It's just that I'm not used to it, and then it just kind of feels like, what do I even need to do, and how do I even get to the point? Um, how do I even get to the point that where they know that their time is valued and that I appreciate them and that I'm grateful, and like you say thank you, but like sometimes I just don't feel like it's enough because people actually do like super meaningful and nice things, and don't know how to I just don't know how to accept help. Like when I'm, alone and not streaming. But like when I'm here, like you guys help me all the time. Like you cheer me on and you help me with, the content, and you bring out all these new, topics and information and everything. And you teach me about the game and you help me be less of a dreadful tank. And it's just really nice. And I don't know. Like with you, I think I'm learning how to even accept help from time to time. So that's probably good for me because I don't know how to do that. Anyway, sorry for keeping you longer than what I thought I would. There's probably people who want to go to bed as well and whatnot. I will keep you no further. I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah, the thing with me is that I'm not an official I don't officially like have autism or anything like that. I never specifically got, like, let's say, tested or whatever it is, like the way that you get like categorized as such. um I did have my like fair share of issues, and even if I was never told. um But like one of the reasons, sorry for keeping you even longer, but now you start a new topic, so um like one of the reasons why I chose to do this, and not like, I don't know, take my diploma and go work as an engineer somewhere, is that like trying to go to school to be an engineer and like finishing that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Because like engineering or working in any kind of environment where people give you a task and you're supposed to perform it, like the way they imagined it, like that's the hardest thing for me ever. um i have a problem with I have a problem with understanding like what people are asking me to do. And I actually was talking to my husband about it the other day as well, because sometimes like he tells me something, like, I don't know, bring me this, or we should do this or we should do that, and I take it so literally that I do that, and then like I don't know, like I come back to him and he's like, are you kidding me? And I was like, this is what you said. And then he was like, okay, this is what I said, but like there's always that but. Like there's always like these things that people don't say, but they kind of, they assume that they're there, or that they're taking for granted or whatever. Or that you're gonna remember them, or that you're gonna know they're needed or something, and I never know these things. And it's a big problem for me because I don't know how to communicate through that. And like whenever I used to, I don't know, work, like I did like my fair share of, just like, high end jobs and low end jobs. Like I would never be able to understand these things. I almost got fired working in a bakery at some point. It was probably the worst 2 weeks of my life. I quit after 2 weeks. I couldn't handle it anymore. Um it was a hard job. But it wasn't just that. It was just these tasks that I was tasked with, where I was supposed to like know, like what I was supposed to do. Like at one point, the boss said, like, he was leaving the bakery and he said, at the end of the shift you need to take the food like out of the freezer and clean the freezer, because the freezer was starting to kind of, catch ice or whatever. Do you know what I did? I took the food out of the freezer and I cleaned the freezer. And that was it. I went home. I went home. I was actually on the bus. And I was sitting there and I was like, I took the food out of the freezer, I cleaned the freezer, and I left all the food out of the freezer, and I never turned the freezer back on. And I completely consciously did that. Like, I wasn't tired. I was not exhausted. I didn't have my head in the clouds or anything. It was past midnight. My boss would be at work in like 4 or 5 hours because she was working the morning shift. I had no more buses. I got out of the bus. I started walking. I walked like it was 1 in the morning. I walked all the way back. It was a long way back. Like, it took me like half an hour to walk. I didn't have any money for a taxi or anything. I unlocked, got in, turned the lights on, put all the food back into the freezer, turned it on. The food, it it was it was barely decent, like the pastries and whatnot for tomorrow. I turned the freezer back on, and I almost, like, in all the confusion, I almost forgot to lock the door. Luckily, I did. And I just went home, just hoping against all hope that I didn't like do something to basically mess it up. And the problem, I knew what the problem was. The problem was when I was there, like, I wasn't specifically told to put the food back into the freezer and turn on the freezer. It's not about, like, I don't have like such like some sort of like high opinion of myself or anything like that, but I don't think I'm dumb either. It's just that I don't I hear things, but I don't go past that when I'm told something. And I know that. And if I was to be employed as an engineer, could you imagine the responsibility that I'd have over the products, over other people, over anything? Would you want me as a boss? Like, would you want me as your, fellow engineers? Yeah, exactly. I don't notice these things. I don't, like, when I'm in a car, when someone else is driving, I don't know where I am. I don't have the capacity to remember the roads around me. I never know, like, I don't know the streets in my own city because I just don't look. If I'm not driving, I don't look, and I don't drive. Oh, that's a whole nother story about why I don't drive, but it's all probably very connected. So that's just like where it begins. And I don't even know where it ends. I decided to not push it and not like try to figure out where it ends because someone might get in danger. So it is details. So I think my husband's like now the only one who knows how to talk to me about it. He knows that, like, when he says something, that unless he says everything I need to hear, that sometimes I will just not pick up on these subtle things. And I don't know what that is. I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a anything that I don't know. I don't know how to help myself. But I've never been able to either. And becoming an engineer was dreadfully difficult because it's all about these things that you need to keep in mind when you do stuff. And it was just implied tasks for me just don't exist. And if you work somewhere, at some point someone's going to take you for granted in a way that they're gonna think like, okay, she did this last time, she's gonna do the same thing this time, even if I share half of the information. Like, people rely on you to learn the patterns, and I don't learn the patterns ever. Like, if I get half of the information, like, that's pretty much what they're gonna get back. And I think that's why a lot of people think I'm rude, because they think I'm trolling them. Like, yeah, I don't perceive, and I've never been good at these, like, you know, like riddles and like what people think and what I like. I always have to ask, And like every time there's like a social situation, I always need to discuss it further, like later on, to make sure I caught up on it. Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not a doctor either. So as I said, I could never like identify what it was. And it's been getting worse over the years as I've stopped kind of, pushing through it, I think. Because I used to be able to um I used to be able to just like push myself into like trying to think what other people think. And like since the whole COVID situation happened, like I started getting like more distance from, people and like university and stuff because I finished. And I stopped getting myself into those like situations where people would ask for something, but they would expect like more than that. Um so yeah. Yeah, I don't care too much about it, and I think this is one of the reasons why I don't know. I haven't like when it comes to my job or whatever, like I haven't started actually like learning the job before level 80, because I feel like I have a hard time adapting to like these like changes that happen like with every level or whatever. And I just kind of quietly have dealt with the fact that I will know nothing until I hit like max level, which turned out to be a bad idea. But like I've just been struggling to find someone who will kind of explain things in a very simple way, like just about enough so I can start from there. I have a problem with like jumping into guides or whatever that are already like up there talking about things that I can't remember or don't understand, because that just makes my brain just dismiss them as unimportant.